Rod, at every sporting event I attend, people are talking about how you have reinvented the wheel when it comes to developing young baseball and softball players into great hitters by conditioning and training them to eliminate hitting pop-ups and infield grounder.
Yeah, the success of our system has created an awful lot of word-of-mouth networking and is largely responsible for the demand for our program. The system is so great we've had to put together a licensing program so young players everywhere can enjoy the benefits of our system. And for a person who enjoys training young players to hit, it provides them a great opportunity to earn an attractive income training young players to hit.
Would you mind explaining your program for me?
Sure. But I want you to understand, we don't believe there is a right way or a wrong way to train young players to hit. We believe there are different ways to train that produce different results. So if you're not really serious about a player becoming a great hitter or earning great part-time money training players to be great hitters, listening to me would be very long and boring. You have to listen closely so you can decide for yourself if our system is for you. Fair enough?
Yes, it's fair enough.
In our opinion, there are 8 identifiable reasons young baseball and softball players hit pop-ups and infield grounders. I'm going to identify with a few of them and how we eliminate them. If you want the complete list, you have to click on pop-ups and infield grounders on the site.
Thanks. I'll be sure to check that out.
Now I'm going to identify some of the things we believe produce pop-ups and infield grounders in a way that I believe will be easy for you to understand by reviewing a bat swing in reverse. The things that produce pop-ups and infield grounders, as far as we're concerned, the ball's contact on the bat is partially or completely outside the sweet spot area of the bat. The ball is traveling faster than the bat at the moment of bat-to-ball contact. The bat isn't anchored securely enough to the player's body at the moment of bat-to-ball contact. The bat's contact with the ball transpires after the sweet spot of the player's bat crossed the player's center line. The player then commenced the forward swing of their bat swing at the moment maximum bat swing power was being produced. Are there any of those things you don't understand?
No, but I'm more than curious how a couple of them produce pop-ups and infield grounders.
All right, well, I'll use one of them to explain how it produces pop-ups and infield grounder and how we approach eliminating the problem. For the rest, once again, you're going to have to click on the pop-ups and infield grounders on the site.
Okay.
When the ball is traveling faster than the bat at the moment of bat-to-ball contact, the ball will push the barrel of the bat backward, upward, or downward, producing an infield grounder or pop-up. Do you believe a young player can be conditioned to swing their bat faster than they are currently swinging it?
Of course.
Do you believe we can find out what the fastest pitching a player will see in the coming season?
Again, of course.
From the expression on your face, I can see you get it. We condition the player to swing their bat faster than the fastest pitch they will be challenged with in the coming season, and then that reason for hitting a pop-up or infield grounder is eliminated.
Is that what you do with everything that produces a pop-up and infield grounder? You eliminate the reasons one at a time until the player's bat swing is free of things that produce pop-ups and infield grounders?
You got it. By isolating each individual thing, it makes it easier for the player to understand what they have to do, and then they go ahead and do it.
Rod, I understand how a player can be conditioned to swing their bat faster, but how can a player be conditioned to deliver the sweet spot of their bat with controlled precision, execute a bat swing with their bat anchored effectively to their body, and commence the forward swing of their bat swing at the moment maximum bat swing power is being produced? Wait a minute, I might be crazy, but isn't that exactly what a golfer does when practicing their swing?
Yes, it is. And if a golfer can do it, so can a baseball and softball player. So let's first analyze how a golfer produces their club swing power. A golfer's club swing power begins with whatever power their arms and shoulders provide, based on how big and strong the golfer is. A golfer's swing also produces tension and torsion energy that can be added to the power of their arms and shoulders, and altogether is referred to as their club swing power. An example of tension power is when you stretch a rubber band. A golfer creates tension power when they stretch their muscles, tendons, and ligaments of their arms and shoulders. Can you see how a baseball or softball player can produce bat swing power the same way?
Of course.
Torsion power, on the other hand, is produced by the golfer torquing or winding the core of their body. An example of torquing power is when you wind the spring of a mousetrap when you're loading it. Can you see any reason a baseball or softball player can't produce torsion power for their bat swing the same way?
I don't know of any reason.
Unlike a mousetrap, where the torsion power can be stored until something springs the trap, a golfer's body can't store maximum tension or torsion power. As soon as the production of the power stops, the power diminishes. That's why a golfer's club swing is one continuous back and forth motion, and they change the backward travel of the swing to the forward travel of the swing at the moment when maximum power is being produced. Otherwise, the golfer isn't transferring their optimum club swing power to the ball. That's why I've never seen a golfer do this. Have you?
No, definitely not.
Isn't the same true for a young baseball and softball player? Why do I hear coaches instructing young players to load and wait for the ball?
Well, the player might have enough bat swing power in their arms.
Well, what about the players that don't? And even if they do, doesn't it make sense for a young player to produce as much bat swing power as they can? Especially since inadequate bat swing power produces pop-ups and infield grounders. If you talk to any coach, tell them to contact me and let me know why they coach that way. They can get in touch with me on this site's comment page or our blog. Here's another thing I'd like somebody to answer for me. If lifting the front leg and opening the hips produces swing power, how come golfers and professional loggers don't do it?
All right, we have maximum bat swing power being produced and being sent to the head of the golfer's club. How does the golfer get conditioned to deliver the head of their club to the ball with controlled precision?
Repeatedly hitting balls by executing the same club swing that delivers the head of the club to the ball until the swing is programmed into the golfer's motor skill memory. By the same golf swing, I mean the club is held exactly the same way each swing. The player is positioned exactly the same distance from the ball each swing. The player's hands are located the same place throughout each swing. The club is swung exactly the same way each swing. This ensures the club head will travel the same path throughout each swing, controlling that the club head makes effective contact with the ball. Not having their hands in the same location during every swing is the reason so many young baseball and softball players can't control the destination of the sweet spot of their bat. Have you ever seen a young player who can't effectively hit a ball traveling in the high area of their strike zone?
Oh yeah, many.
Well, the reason is, especially if they are taught to extend their arms when swinging their bat, they take their hands to the ball instead of the sweet spot, taking control of the destination of the sweet spot away from the player. Look what it does to the sweet spot. And it pulls the player's biceps away from their body, reducing the resistance to the ball's impact.
I think this is where you lose me.
Why is that?
I don't see a baseball or softball player having the ability to swing their bat exactly the same way each time they swing at the ball.
Why not?
Because the ball is moving.
What if the ball isn't moving? If it was on a tee like the balls a golfer hits, could they do it then?
Of course.
So a young player can be conditioned to deliver the sweet spot of their bat with control, correct?
Well, yes, if the ball is on a tee.
Well, we've already determined a player can be conditioned to produce adequate bat swing power, commence the forward travel of their bat swing at the moment maximum bat swing power is being produced, and deliver the sweet spot of their bat with control, eliminating all those reasons for pop-ups and infield grounders, correct?
Yes.
Well, now let's identify why the contact has to transpire before the sweet spot crosses the player's center line, or pop-ups and infield grounders will be produced.
This really interests me because I'm sure a player can be conditioned to hit the ball prior to the sweet spot crossing the center line by doing what a golfer does, placing the ball on the tee prior to the player's center line. But I still have a concern about hitting a moving ball. So what's the reason for hitting the ball before the sweet spot crosses the player's center line?
The power contributed to the player's bat swing by the player's arms and shoulders is mostly exhausted by the time it gets to the player's center line. Likewise, the power produced by the torquing of the player's core is depleted by the time the core is unwound.
Inadequate power delivered to the ball produces pop-ups and infield grounders. So hitting the ball prior to the center line, that reason eliminated.
Right on, exactly. So now let's talk about what produces pop-ups and infield grounders when the sweet spot makes contact with a pitch ball. We have acknowledged a player can be conditioned to increase the travel speed of their bat, so that reason for a pop-up or infield grounder is eliminated. We also talked about the importance of the distance between the player and the ball having to be consistent, bat swing to bat swing, so the sweet spot can be delivered with control. Now we have to address the issue of the bat being securely anchored to effectively deal with the impact force of the driving ball. If the bat isn't anchored effectively, the impact of the ball can push the barrel of the bat backward, upward, or downward, producing pop-ups and infield grounders. The most effective way the bat can offset the impact of a pitch ball on its barrel is for the player to use their body weight to anchor the bat. This, of course, means the knob of the bat has to be held close to the player's body throughout their bat swing. This allows the player's biceps to be close to their body throughout their bat swing, which allows the player's body and their bat to act as one monolithic unit to transfer bat swing power and resist the impact of a pitch ball much more effectively, eliminating those reasons for pop-ups and infield grounders. Evidence of its effectiveness is how many more pop-ups and infield grounders are hit by young players who extend their arms away from their body during the execution of their bat swing. Even the player who has great bat speed or strong arms, the impact compromises their speed and power. Hey, are you awake?
Yes, I'm awake.
Well, let me ask you this then. What type of motor skill memory of a club swing would a golfer develop if every time they practiced hitting the ball was at a different location, or they positioned the ball in the same location but located themselves in a different spot each time? Or the distance between themselves and their club head changed every time they hit the ball?
Based on what I know about developing muscle memory, none. They'd end up with a haphazard swing. They'd have to think their way through each time they attempted to hit the ball.
Well, isn't that typically how a young baseball and softball player is trained to hit? Presenting balls to them in dozens of different locations for them to hit, letting them stand in various different spots in an attempt to make it easier for them to hit the ball, having them extend their biceps away from their body, resulting in the distance between the sweet spot of their bat and their body being inconsistent, prohibiting controlled delivery of the sweet spot.
I thought you weren't going to discredit other coaching techniques.
I'm not discrediting anything. I ask you, isn't that typically how a young player is trained to hit? Yes or no?
Well, yes.
A golfer doesn't do that. They develop a motor skill memory of a club swing that produces maximum swing power, then commences the forward swing of their club when the maximum power is being produced, and delivers the club head in a manner that will make contact with the ball prior to the club head crossing the player's center line, so maximum power is transferred to the ball by hitting balls off a tee. Why can't a baseball or softball player do the same thing?
Because they have to hit a moving ball?
That doesn't prevent the player from accomplishing everything but hitting a moving ball, correct?
No, it doesn't. But hitting the ball is a pretty important part of batting.
Well, what do you believe would prevent a player from hitting the moving ball?
Timing.
Timing meaning what exactly?
Not having the ability to start their bat swing quick enough and have their bat travel fast enough to hit the moving ball?
Now, we've already agreed a player can increase the speed of their bat swing, correct?
Correct.
Do you believe a player can be conditioned to start their bat swing quick enough to hit a pitching ball?
Of course, players hit pitched balls all the time.
Case closed. Let me explain how we eliminate another reason for hitting pop-ups and infield grounders: the loss of the visual focus on the ball as it approaches the player. The tee the player hits balls off to develop their bat swing motor skill memory is placed deep on the outside edge of home plate. The ball is located at the bottom of the player's strike zone. Once the bat swing motor skill memory is developed, all we have to do is have the player understand where the balls traveling in all other lanes of their strike zone need to be hit. We then place the balls on a tee at those spots and have the player repeatedly hit balls off of those tees. In addition to enhancing the player's ability to execute their bat swing motor skill memory in all areas of their strike zone, the player's body is being physically conditioned to execute their bat swing. We do this with our L-Rod. This also does one other very important thing. It eliminates any weak spot in the player's strike zone that a pitcher could take advantage of. Players conditioned and trained with our system don't have to wait for their pitch. They don't have to lay off of the strikes in the high area of their strike zone. If it's a strike, it's their pitch. Plus, we consistently increase how quick the player's bat swing starts. This produces a bat swing motor skill memory of a bat swing that won't impulsively want to swing at a ball traveling outside the player's strike zone. This eliminates the need for the player's mind to have to deal with, is it a strike? What should I be doing with my back foot? Is the ball inside or outside? Should I swing or not? And how far do I have to extend my arms to hit the ball? All while the ball is bearing down on them. The only thing the player's mind has to do is decide when the player should swing the bat. And that reason for a pop-up or infield grounder is eliminated.
And then what?
Well, then the player is ready to develop the timing to hit balls that will be pitched to them in the upcoming season. Once that timing is in place, all the player has to do to prepare themselves for the next level of pitching that they'll be challenged with is increase the quickness of the start of their bat swing and increase the travel speed of the barrel of their bat, both of which we agree can be accomplished. And they'll be good to go. If you want more information on our system, visit our site, haneyhitting.com, and click on System.
You know, this is such a different approach to conditioning a young baseball and softball player to hit, and it sounds so easy. It's a little difficult believing it works so well.
That's why we tell parents and coaches who are considering using our system to train a player and people applying to be licensed to go to haneyhitting.com and check our testimonials.
Talking about licensing, what's that about?
The licensing format is an effort on our part to provide the benefit of our system to young players everywhere in a manner that allows us to maintain control of the quality of training the players receive. Something I'm sure you agree is important.
Of course, but it would be so much easier for you just to sell the system and not worry about how it's used. And doing it your way adds to the cost.
Initially, yes. But because the cost of our licensing is so inexpensive and the copyrighted system is so easy to learn, a person can quickly be in a position earning money training young players to hit. This allows a licensee to quickly recoup their initial investment and then earn an attractive income while building equity into their business. You don't have to have any experience, but we do require you qualify via our background and drug policies. And you have to agree to provide free lessons for a player who can't afford to pay for them. If you want information on our licensing, go to haneyhitting.com and click on Licensing.
Rod, I really appreciate you taking the time to explain things for me. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Let's get busy developing young baseball and softball players into great hitters and let them decide for themselves if they want to play rather than quit because they think they aren't good enough to hit high school pitching.